that door rattles sometimes, and so I got a big piece of wood and just leaned it against it from the outside. We're already recording, by the way.
Cool. I kind of figured that was.
It's just like,
case, you know.
it just rolls, and then
Yeah.
I just edit around whatever.
You need, yeah.
That's what a friend of mine came in and to do our body armor series, because we're doing a body armor series. And he was like, this is a lot less official than I thought it was going to be. Like, we just push record and we just go.
This is way more official. This place looks great. You know, I got big old lights lighting me up here. And,
Yeah. Only thing we're missing is hair and makeup department.
Oh, I did mine before we came in.
I didn't put my makeup on.
Dang.
No, I didn't.
Right.
But so today we're talking about Frontline medical, right? So medical is something I've been pushing pretty hard, and I want to continue to push it. And we want to do something every Monday. We'd like to do Medic Mondays. We'd like to be able to provide good quality training on the YouTubes that you can just kind of look up, and you can, for your own knowledge, just figure out how to use stuff that's in your medical kit. A lot of people I know carry med kits. They go on, they buy like a huge, there's companies out there that have the massive $1,000
Right.
backpacks, and then they literally have no idea how to use any of that stuff.
Yeah. I think having the equipment without the knowledge makes the equipment useless, because I got all this fancy equipment, set $1,000 bag, but I know how to use a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of having
Exactly.
3 tourniquets and a chest seal and blah, 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 if you don't know how to use it? So,
And hopefully the time of your emergency is not the time you're jumping on YouTube
absolutely. Yeah.
to figure out how to put a tourniquet
I know
on
you're
right
bleeding to death, but hold on. Let me look up how do I control bleeding on YouTube real quick.
Exactly.
And we'll figure it out.
there. Exactly.
Yeah, it's not the best time.
So hopefully you guys will subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you guys can go follow Frontline Medical Defense on, you're on TikTok. I see you posting on TikTok a lot.
Yeah, TikTok, Instagram. We got all the socials, pretty much except a YouTube, just because I've been fighting that one. But we probably need to get on there as well. But
Yeah,
Frontline Med
absolutely.
Kits is our social, and frontlinemedicaldefense.com.
Yep. And then he also does like a lot of really good training. I've seen like you've got the props with the legs and all that stuff, and Stop the Bleed certified, which is great, as well as a certified paramedic.
That's correct.
So we also work for the same department, right?
Correct.
I'm an advanced EMT, but you're a little step ahead of me, and you're a paramedic.
Correct.
So this is coming from people with real-world experience.
Right.
So hopefully you're not having to do anything at the paramedic level in your living room. Most of the stuff people buy these kits for is trauma, which is basically BLS, basic life support.
Right.
And it's a really good idea to buy a med kit and train yourself, or go get some professional training, like take a Stop the Bleed course or something. If you're in the Atlanta area, message me on Instagram, or if you're following Frontline Medical, message him. He does classes regularly, and they're going to be really well structured. And then you actually leave with a Stop the Bleed cert, right? Like, don't you get
Yeah. So Stop the Bleed is a national program that was developed after one of the school shootings, and a bunch of doctors got together and say, how can we stop all these kids from dying in the schools while the first responders are outside, not coming in because the scene's not secure? And they basically came up with, hey, if we can stop the bleeding, we're going to save a lot more lives. And so it's a national curriculum, and you'll get a certificate afterwards that says you're a certified Stop the Bleed participant or whatever, and come up with a lot of good training on how to use a tourniquet, pack a wound, and basically just control massive hemorrhage.
Yeah, that's probably what somebody that's buying a med kit is preparing for, some kind of massive hemorrhage.
Yeah, a lot of these, shooting incidents, going out and doing the range or whatever, negligent discharge, whatever it may be, that bleeding is what's going to get you. 3 to 5 minutes and you're going to be dead. So if you don't stop the bleed, you're going to die.
You're dead. All bleeding stops eventually, right?
All bleeding stops eventually, whether you stop it or
Exactly.
your heart quits pumping it.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to touch on too is that like the buying the med kit for the bullet trauma and everything is kind of like the sexier thing to talk about and prepare for. But a lot of people don't realize that like penetrating trauma, blunt force trauma, those types of things happen all the time. I mean, how many calls do we run where it's not a gunshot, but there's still massive hemorrhaging?
Yeah, I would say it's a much higher percentage that we're running, like you said. A car wreck. I got a picture sent to me another day from a paramedic that was a wreck, and it was blood everywhere. He said, man, it was just a car accident, but I had to put a tourniquet on it just to control the bleeding.
Yeah.
It was not a shooting. A lot of times you run into these shootings, and unfortunately, people are dead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of times it's home use. You put your arm through a plate glass window,
Yep.
or you fall off a boat and get hit by the prop, whatever it might
Yeah.
be, not necessarily just getting shot.
Yeah, accidents happen all the time. There's not like a specific formula for accidents you might encounter.
Right, and again, you never know when it's going to happen, right? So it's not like, oh, I'm only at the gun range, only bring a kid with me there. I could be driving my car, I could be on the boat, I could be hunting, I could be playing in
Yeah.
the backyard with my kids.
Yeah.
You never know when it's going to happen, and like you said, it's not the time at that point to be like, man, I need a first aid kit. It's,
Yeah.
you already need to have it. know how to
And
use
you
it.
have some really good ones that actually just fit in your pocket, right?
do,
So do you have those with you, right?
Yeah, they're over here.
Yeah, let's grab them. Let's talk about the Stop the Bleed kit because we kind of hit on that already.
Yeah.
And maybe talk about what kind of goes on in these classes and what you get in the kit. So if you sign up for a class, do you buy a kit?
No, you don't have to. So the classes are free that I put on. There are places that charge, or we sell kits to churches and other businesses, and then with them buying kits from us, I'll come and teach a class for free and whatnot. Or I do host them around the state, and people can sign up. And then we usually sell stuff there, or they can buy beforehand. Or sometimes they have their own stuff. For me, again, it's about knowing how to use your equipment. So if you show up to the class and don't buy anything, I'm cool with it, because you're getting the information to know how to save a life. And that's
Right.
what's really important to me.
Right. But it does help to buy something. So
Yeah, if you want to buy something, it's good too.
it helps. So this is the Stop the Bleed kit, right?
Yep, so there are a bunch of different kits on the market. There's a bunch of different items that go into any one of these kits. Ours are vacuum sealed. We got the contents on the front. And we base ours off of the TCCC standards, which is the Committee on Tactical Combat Casualty Care, and March algorithms and all that kind of stuff for all you EMS nerds and whatever out there. But so March is a pretty important algorithm, and so ours come with all that certified stuff or recommended stuff. But the nuts and bolts of a Stop the Bleed kit is a tourniquet. These are the CAT tourniquets by North American Rescue Combat Application Tourniquet. Again, these are TCCC approved. They're the ones that the military, I would say, primarily is carrying those on the battlefield. They've been tested and proven, and whatever you want to say. Those are the #1 tourniquets.
Yeah, and this is basically the gold standard. Like,
Absolutely.
if you buy any med kit wherever you buy it from, it probably has CAT tourniquets in it.
Yeah, there are a bunch of different manufacturers. And again, the TCCC has a list of approved, and it's only like 7 or 8 tourniquets that they recommend for, again, what they would call like the the battlefield or whatever. Like this one over there has got a SWAT tourniquet. This
Oh
one,
yeah,
which still is a great tourniquet, but these are one-handed application. The windlass goes either direction. Super easy to put on.
there's another one with a metal windlass. A newer one?
I think Recon Tactical.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different manufacturers out there.
Yeah, so SWAT T tourniquet.
And so that's just not an easy one-handed application. I still think it's a great tourniquet, and it comes in a lot of our kits because it's still a tourniquet.
Yeah.
But these, like you said, are by far and away the gold standard of tourniquets.
Yeah, and so too, like I know our protocols talk about whenever you put on a tourniquet and that tourniquet's not working, you place a secondary tourniquet.
Right.
A lot of med kits don't even come with secondary tourniquets, so this is kind of a nice little
Yeah, it's
compact
a
way to
backup, yeah.
have a backup tourniquet.
Yeah. And then so in the class you learn when to use a tourniquet, where to put a tourniquet, how it operates. You know, do you take them off? Do you not take them off? I think on the internet there's a lot of, keyboard warriors that say, oh, well, you always do it this, or you always do it that. And that's not really the case, So we teach, the national curriculum. You get your hands on. We've got a wound packing aid, and you put a tourniquet on yourself, on your buddy, all that kind of stuff, talking about self-aid, buddy aid. So I think it's a great class. It's like 2 hours long, and you get, for me, the life-saving information is well worth it.
Yeah, for sure. So what else we got? We got the CAT tourniquet.
So this is North American Rescue's version of what they call the Israeli bandage. So it's just
Okay.
a pressure bandage that you put a bandage on somebody and then take your hands off. Because typically they teach, put pressure on and don't really take it off. This kind of allows you, because you never know, I'm going into a mass shooting in a mall that's had 10 victims. Well, I can't just sit here and hold pressure on one person the whole time.
Yeah.
What if I need to treat multiple patients?
And that's why, like, the Israeli bandage is was designed and used in the military because you may have to move, you may have to have direct pressure and move,
Right.
or you may not have the hands. In the EMS world, it's like you may have 3 other people on scene with you,
Right.
you know, sitting there holding. So,
Yeah.
but it is nice to be able to go hands-free and still have pressure on,
Right.
which is neat.
And then more North American Rescue stuff because it is absolutely legit
Yeah.
stuff. So wound packing gauze. So it comes with 2 wound packing gauze. And again, that's what we're going to actually push into the cavity. So if you get a gunshot, there's going to be a cavity there. If you have severed an artery that we can't put a tourniquet on, or it's in your groin, your armpit, or your neck, something like that, where we can't place a tourniquet because we only tourniquet the limbs, you can pack the wounds and try and stop the bleeding that way.
It feels super good too.
Yeah, they're going to love it.
Yeah.
Shears, so we can locate where a bleed is.
Yeah, exposing a wound is more important than a lot of people think. I've seen videos of people shot in the arms, legs, or wherever, and you see the street medic run up and just kind of throw a tourniquet on. Like, cut off their clothes. It only takes a few seconds, and figure out what's going on. You know, if you've got the time, if you're in an active gunfight,
you know, that's why it's so
It's
important
different.
to take classes and get training because it's not. I'm not always going to cut somebody's clothes off.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Yeah,
If I'm in the middle of a firefight or there's an active shooter, I'm probably just going to throw a tourniquet high and tight
And
not
run.
worry about it. Then maybe get outside the building and reassess. Okay, now I'm going to cut your shirt off.
Yeah.
And, okay, I see that, you know,
yeah.
whatever the scenario.
And all these kind of tactics will probably be broken down in further Medic Monday videos because a military guy is going to treat, like a military medic's going to treat a gunshot wound differently than like an EMS guy would.
Probably,
A military guy what he said, clothes, whatever, doesn't matter. Let's get a tourniquet on there, let's get out. EMS guy might be like, okay, let's direct pressure, let's cut the clothes off. Can you get this stuff going? Go ahead and get, vitals.
Yeah,
and-
like we a lot of times come into the trauma hospitals and we get people that call trauma naked.
Yeah.
So you literally just cut off all their clothes and then you can assess every part of their body looking for wherever the injury may be. Because there might be, again, you get a massive hemorrhage, a gunshot, in your left leg, but hey, maybe there's one in your back that we didn't notice. So that looks really bad coming in on the ambulance with a tourniquet on one leg, but chest seal on or bleeding out or whatever it may be. So yeah, exposing them is
Yep, and I've seen people shot like in the leg, went in and out, through and into the other leg,
right.
and that other leg never got addressed because you're like, oh, entry, exit, cool, tourniquet or whatever you need to do, direct pressure, and then that person, you're like, man, why is their blood pressure dropping? Why is this?
And that's why in our kit we have a couple different methods where we got multiple wound packing because again, you might have multiple gunshots, you might have a through and through, it might be went through one person and then the next person, so you might have to treat multiple patients. So a tourniquet's really only good for one spot. And we can wound pack, maybe 3 other people with this. We teach, packing it, and then if you've got extra, you can cut it off, and then put the bandage on it, and then go package or another wound, fill another wound with the leftover. And then we do have some of the ones with the hemostatic agent in it that is way more expensive, but it's going to help you create that clot in your body. And again, I'd recommend if you've got multiple victims, pack the wound, cut the extra, and move on because that's the good stuff with the hemostatic agent.
Yeah, for sure.
So the last thing, we've got gloves because PPE is always important. If you've got the time to protect yourself, why not do it? And then a 5x9 and a cling roll. Again, just maybe you're treating a non-life-threatening injury. Maybe it's a bullet graze or whatever. We're out, maybe the casualty collection point or whatever we're doing, and able to bandage another injury.
Yeah.
Or again, maybe you've used this one and then we packed another wound. We could use this almost like that.
Yeah.
Again, just giving you that flexibility to, well, I don't have to use that, or I've used that, now let me use this.
Even the SWAT tee.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like throw some combat gauze over it or a pack or whatever you need to do, and then SWAT tee and roll it up.
Yep. And again, that's why it's not TCCC approved,
Yeah.
but I still think it's a great option to carry with you because you can use it as a tourniquet, you can use it as a splint, you can use it as a sling.
Yeah.
It'll work for canines, it'll work
Yeah.
for any aged child, whereas the cat's only good to about a 5-inch diameter arm. Again, so I think the combination of those both is a great combo.
Yeah.
It'll give you, again, that flexibility to make your kit work for you.
And I keep bringing this up, but it's a lot of companies aren't doing that. Like a lot of the medical companies aren't offering multiple tourniquets or options.
Look down on stuff that's not TCCC approved. But like you said, being a medic, firefighter for 15 years and a medic for 9,
Yeah.
We run these calls every day.
Yeah.
And you go to Walmart and you get a $30 kit that has 1,000 Band-Aids in it.
Yeah.
It's going to do you no good.
Yeah.
I've run multiple calls where you get out there and you're like, man, that's a lot of blood on the ground.
Yeah.
And I literally put a 5x9 and a cling on it and we're good to go.
Yeah.
So again, just getting that training, that knowledge of what works and what doesn't work, and trying to bring, the street medic, the smarts, whatever, of what we've been doing for years and years
Yeah.
into a nice kit that actually works.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. Like, I mean, I'm sure that it's not approved to use Vaseline gauze as a chest seal,
Right.
but you got to do, if it's an emergency, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, well, and again, it's like we shot a video the other day, and basically anything that's occlusive, so the back of this dress, and they teach in that TECC, you don't throw anything to the side, So if you open this, typically this is going to be in another dressing or another package, so this will work as an occlusive dressing, the package itself.
Yeah.
You don't want to necessarily just throw stuff to the wayside because, again, you don't know how many penetrating chest wounds you're going to have to treat.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a class that's available not just here. If you live out of state, you live in wherever. There's instructors everywhere.
Yeah. So stopthebleed.org is the website, and you can enter your city, your address, whatever, and do a 50-mile radius or 100-mile radius, and hopefully find something near you. And then there are other companies out there like us that are teaching all these sorts of classes. So if you don't live in the Atlanta area or wherever, feel free, man. Just get trained because it's the most important thing. All this stuff does you no good if you don't know how to use it.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'll probably be doing some of that stuff here in the studio. You can come by. We haven't scheduled it yet, but you will be able to, sign up. David will be teaching it. We're both David.
Yeah, it works well.
Yeah, so David will be teaching it. It'll be here in the studio. You can even come see the Armory set and see, the building that we're in and what we're doing. We ran one class out of here. We ran a CQB class, and
I saw some stuff posted on that.
It was really awesome.
Yeah.
Like this facility is like mind-boggling when it comes to CQB and like how you have to maneuver it.
Sure.
It's pretty awesome.
And that would be great for, how do you get somebody out of this studio into a safe spot? Get them off the X, off the mark, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
How would you package somebody and extricate them from inside?
Yeah.
You can do a lot of awesome training in here with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's Stop the Bleed. We are going to try and do something medical every Monday. It's going to be Medic Mondays. We're going to actually open some stuff up. We're going to show practical uses for each one of these items that come in these kits. There's all sorts of kits. We could sit here literally all day and talk about all the different sizes.
Let's do that.
We can. I mean, there's so much to medical. It's literally a never-ending rabbit hole once you start going down it.
And then they update things, continually.
Yeah.
So they might learn whatever, like the Iraq-Afghanistan war, tourniquets made a huge comeback. It was World War II stuff. Oh, yeah, don't worry, don't put a tourniquet on it, But now it's like, put them on there and life over limb, save a life. And
well, medical technology has also changed. Like back then, it was like, oh, you put a tourniquet on, now we got to cut off his arm.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And now it's just
we've
like,
definitely advanced with medications and everything that go along with it.
And some people still believe that stuff, like, oh, or think they're going to get amputated.
We post stuff and then people will comment, well, we didn't do that, or you always go high and tight, or you always go to, so get trained.
Yeah, just get trained. So we're going to be offering some of that stuff. We're going to be doing some giveaways of med kits. We're going to be partnering with some more military guys. We're going to be partnering with some SWAT guys just to get all these different perspectives on this type of stuff. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you go follow Frontline Medical. Make sure you subscribe to Armory, and make sure you grab a med kit. You can go to diearmory.com and get a med kit. You can go to Frontline Medical Defense. Disclosure, he's the one that packs our med kits.
Yeah, so you know they're good.
You're buying from the same source. So just go do it. Get a head start on it now. Grab stuff. Start watching other YouTube videos and stuff. And that way, whenever you do come to a class, you are a little more prepared. And so like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.